Hey, this is Notser, and we're checking out another French battleship, this time the Tier 9, Alsace. We're on the map Land of Fire, and the build's pretty straightforward from a commander standpoint. This is my 19 that I've been moving through the different ships. Different commanders, it's one commander. As far as the modules are concerned, I did go for a secondary equipment, just to see. It's the first French battleship that has the range to do that. I don't know that it's the best build possible, but I just wanted to see. And the nice thing is it's tier 9, so I can increase that rate of fire. And oh yes, found 3 citadels on that Neptune already. He is hurting. That was like 35,000 damage. He's going to have to heal. Nobody saw that though, so I wanted to tell my team, hey, Neptune is very, very hurt. But what makes the Alsace unique? Worth the time invested to go all the way up to tier 9. Well, it's got 12 guns at tier 9, when most of the competition is rocking 8 and 9. It is only 380 millimeters, but it is a traditional layout. So your strategy for Yamato, Alsace, Iowa, Missouri, North Carolina, the British, Lion, Conqueror, it all works out. You've already developed these skills over probably 1,000 battles for a lot of you, even more. You just so happen to have 3 extra guns, and it feels pretty good. Mishima did not expect that kind of damage, I'm sure. We got a lucky roll where we got an exorbitant amount of those shells to go towards the target. I was expecting maybe 4, maybe 3, but we got like 6 or 8. So it definitely hurt that target. We unfortunately take 1 torpedo, and I'm already pretty unhealthy. I mean, this game has started good and bad. I've traded a lot of damage. I need to sort of slow down a little bit. It feels very powerful, but it can't be powerful if I try and go 1 versus 3 or 1 versus 4. So I sort of slow down and turn away. I don't want the enemy Yamato on my flank to engage me, and we just barely miss out on that kill shot. If we would have done 750 more, or he had already taken 750 damage, we would have gotten that kill. So, yeah, that's unfortunate, but it unlocks A point for us. We already have B point. I was hoping to maybe get an angle on this enemy Yamato. Not the case, though. Mishima is clearly still in line of sight of my ship. And the torpedoes, they should be back up very soon. So since I can't engage the enemy Yamato, I'm going to fire on the Conqueror. Ship damage at that point. Yep, here comes some torpedoes. Oh, those are deep water. So there's a Pan-Asian somewhere close by. Got to be extra careful. But we're going to confirm the capture. I'm trying to get an angle on the enemy. Also doing callouts to focus fire. Teammates are doing a good job. That target, he went forward too fast. That's what happens. Battleship play is such a fine line between aggression and passivity. If you cross that line and you're too aggressive or you're too passive, you're not contributing enough. You're dying early, or you aren't getting the right amount of damage on the target. And we got the right amount of damage on the target. Between the secondary guns and the main battery, that's a lot of shells. It is concerning to a destroyer when they're having secondaries on fire. Now, most of them are not going to hit, but then you have main battery, and those definitely hit for a ton. We've already done 92,000 damage, and we're not 7 minutes in the battle. So I said, hey, I'm going to come around this island. I'm going to come back around Z46. I'm here to support you. I always love being that guy, being the ship that decides to hitch my wagon to some random player on my team and go after their targets. I wanted to help him take out maybe the Shima. If the Shima is dead, this flank is completely unlocked for me. I have no pressure whatsoever. If the Shima is alive, then I got to be a little bit more careful. Now we got a bow-on Japanese battleship. I'm trying to get on its flank and punish it by pushing forward. I think that's the best way to approach it. But we don't really get a good shot. Enemy Conquerors try to retreat. If I could have that information a little bit sooner, I would have absolutely fired on the Conqueror. Instead, he fires on me first. Only one fire, though. I allow that fire to burn. Not really going to put it out. If I get a second fire, absolutely, I will work to put it out with damage control. But we get a nice broadside on the target, and I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good about my contribution in the game already. We're basically 100,000. But the game is not won. This is a very close game. So I want to be smart. I want to engage correctly. I want to stay on the flank. I want to punish targets that show too much side. I don't want this Conqueror to just allow it to run and heal back up. And we do 13,000 on that salvo. And it's AP, by the way. It's a lot harder to repair than the HE that most people will fire at a ship that is angled like that at all. Still going to continue with the pursuit. That Shima is in the back of my mind, though. I still have this sneaking suspicion that the Shimakaze is hunting me. And we're going to take a little bit more Conqueror. The Musashi is moving forward, which is a disadvantage to him and an advantage to me. My secondaries are in range, and he's going to try and just engage me. I'm going to try and cut that corner, make it a little bit shallow. Going to sustain a little bit of damage, for sure. But between my secondaries and my teammates, if I can survive this push, I think this unlocks the game. But the enemy team is trying so hard. Leave me alone. And as he's presenting to me, he should be vulnerable to someone else, right? Fire again at the waterline. Ooh, we find the Citadel, and I think that's it. I think he's dead. But I have sustained a ton of damage. I want to use my heals and retreat. And there we go. Musashi's dead. So, still think the Shima's somewhere out there. Conqueror, very low. I've got to retreat. I've got to use the speed boost and just re-heal up. And that's the great thing about the French battleships. They get speed boost. You don't need to use it for an aggressive play. You can use it to retreat quicker, heal back up, and then come back with the health pool to really push the tempo of the game. And man, it's not looking good at all. My teammates are taking torpedoes. They're dying. I've got to continue to try and contribute to this game. But I feel like I totally can. 150,000 already? I just can't believe how much damage I've racked up so soon and with so little experience in the ship, but I feel like I've played it the entire time. We get that kill on the Neptune, and I think that was the Neptune that I was able to get 3 Citadels early on in the game. But it feels really similar to an Iowa or Missouri in speed, maneuverability, gun layout, of course. And obviously the quad mount is nothing new. Playing all the French battleships, that's it. Oh, hey, there you go. Did you see it? Shima was spotted, and I catch on just half a second too late. I couldn't fire, but I see he is indeed hunting me. He's looking for a window. My fighter is not going to be up for that much longer, and he absolutely will probably have torpedoes. So I'm trying to decide, do I want to go after the Benson? Do I want to have my guns for the Shima? Is the Shima really going to allow me to fire on him? Probably not. Friendlies do take out the Benson. And I know where the Shima is. We know where the other destroyer is. So B point should be unlocked. Unfortunately, the friendly pulls back. Maybe he's a little afraid of the Izumo, who's now in the center of the map. But we need to stop the bleed. We've got to try and capture B point, since we know where basically all the destroyers are. That should be pretty reasonable, and the Neptune takes out the enemy Fletcher. So only one DD left, and that's the Shima. So as I'm playing the Alsace, it's maneuverable, great rate of fire. The turret traverse is fair for what I had to give up to get the rate of fire. I think it's like 45 seconds, 42 seconds. But the 12 guns is where it's at. I haven't felt like it was inaccurate. Have you felt like watching these shots, it's like, it feels really French. It's just an inaccurate piece of crap. Why would everyone play it? No, contrary. Because of the amount of guns, it feels like every single shot, I have 1 or 2 always hitting the target. And it's a vulnerable shot for the enemy. Like, the AP's hitting, it's getting a penetration. We got 5 on the target, 16,000. Didn't get a Citadel. Enemy Shima, of course, 1 set of torpedoes. And some people are like, you are incredibly dumb going after this destroyer out here. My goal, try and bait out some torpedoes. Change my heading every 10, 15, 20 seconds. It's really hard to deal with that. It's a fast ship, so the lead is extreme. The more lead you give, the harder it is for that torpedo set, that same torpedo set, to actually hit, because you just have to change your direction if you catch sight of it, which we are. And I'm going to give some call-outs. This is where the enemy Shima is. Take B point. Feels like it's completely... And now we know he's used all 5, so I can aggressively push for a minute, maybe 2, before there's any torpedoes back up. So there was a Conqueror that was retreating for this whole time. There's still a Neptune somewhere over by C point, last known position, and then there's a Shima. We're down on points, but we should start to ramp that up by taking B. If I get a line of sight, and I know I'm visible to the enemy. If I see this Conqueror, I know he's vulnerable. If I see the Shima, I know he's vulnerable. And I do get my speed boost back up. So I'm definitely going to go into overdrive and try and maybe over-pursue the Shima, get him to show himself. We've got this Conqueror over here finally showing up. He's perfectly broadside. Terrible positioning for him. Great positioning for me. He fires HE, of course. 2 fires by him. I get 10,000. I'm going to try and use a heal. Have to put out the 2 fires. And in doing so, now we're in this weird positioning where the next shot he sets will be fires. And I really want him dead. So I'm just going to try and maneuver as best as I can, considering the Shima has to be... Yep, there the Shima is. His torpedoes will be available soon. And yep, there's 1 fire. We've got to stop this. I can't afford to take another fire. I'm going to use my back gun on this guy. Secondaries have been firing the whole time. Please don't set me on fire. Please don't set me on fire. Okay. I think we're going to survive. We've got the enemy Shima, and he's a little cocky. He thinks, oh, I can sail out in the middle of nowhere, you know. It's a BB. He can't hit me. Oh, I think you are mistaken, my friend. You are gravely mistaken. Look at that second gun. Oh, that's going to hit. And we get him with our secondaries. We survive the fire. I give ground. It looks like he uses torpedoes against the friendly Des Moines. And I think we're going to win this game. And this felt like such a beast. The entire time we were pushing the flank, we were getting on enemies that were isolating themselves or a little too vulnerable. Shells were accurate, consistent. I have no issue with the ship at all. It is everything I ever wanted. I love it. It's my favorite French battleship by far. I've played pretty much all of them. And I hope this was fun to watch. I had a blast playing it. It's like, yes, Neptune, Hindenburg, Shimakaze. Every other salvo feels like it's just a devastating damage on the enemy. And I think that's because of the AP shells, the way they feel. They feel very American, if that makes sense. I don't know that they are American, but the angle that they hit the target, it just feels like it's the right amount of vulnerability for the accuracy. I didn't feel like the 380 was holding me back. I punished targets that showed their side, and I was able to do that consistently. Now, if I was trying to go after someone who was bow on, and I had no flank whatsoever, I'd probably switch to HE, because you have no hope of penetrating the bow of battleships. 0. But thankfully, my team engaged the primary flank, and I was allowed to just wreak havoc on the enemy. The Neptune was AFK in J10. What can you do? So 4 kills, almost 200,000, capture the base, huge base XP. It was a wonderful game. I love the ship. I can't wait for everyone to have a chance to play it. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you all have a wonderful day. 2 million potential damage shot at us or sent towards us. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you next time.